Welcome to One Voice. My name is Roy Gilbert, and I'm the president of One Voice. Today, we're going to talk about the computer automation tool, or CAT. And what we're going to do is we're going to do an overview of DRG coding. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask by typing in the chat box, or you can send me an email or call or whatever you want to do once you have seen the presentation. So let's get started. In CAT, once we set your credentials, you always log in the same way. And basically, the login is just clicking on the icon on your desktop. Very simple. CAT then loads the databases for everything, regardless of what it is you're going to code. Everything gets loaded every time, and you're ready to go. So now, first thing we're going to do is import a document to code. And we can either scan documents, we can import documents electronically. It doesn't matter what format. It doesn't matter if it's HL7, if it's CDA, if it's a Word document, if it's rich text files. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's a PDF, we don't care. We're going to import it. I imported a file for this particular demo, and then we're going to process this file. Once it's processed, it's ready for coding. So now we're going to choose that file, and we're going to open it. And here's what we get. What you see here is the actual document coded and ready to go. ICD-9, ICD-10. What I have chosen here is ICD-10, and you can see the ICD-10 codes below and how it ties in with the ICD-10, where it got it from on the note. So you can see the diabetes on the note, and you can see the ICD-10 code, and away we go. So what you have up here is you have in the gray box, you have all the codes. So whatever codes that we are processing, that is what you're going to see up there. But we have chosen ICD-10 because that's highlighted. And that is what we're going to end up processing at the end. You may need ICD-9 depending on the dates, but we're going to need ICD-10. Now we're going to click on DRG and move on to coding for DRG. Again, you select the ICD type. We're going to use ICD-10. We could use ICD-9 if it was before October 1st, 2015, but seeing as what we're doing is after, we're going to use ICD-10, and the patient presented at admission time with this diagnosis. So we were going to click on yes, as opposed to not enough information, or no they didn't, or the other choices. You can see this drop down box right here, you have other choices. But for this purposes of this demo, yes, the patient presented at admission time. And we click next. And here we have the diagnosis. I chose cellulitis as the principal diagnosis, as opposed to diabetes or hypertension or obesity, any of the others. Those are all secondary. Hit next. They only did one procedure. We did an amputation. They did an amputation. An amputation was done. I didn't do anything. Please, no notes. I didn't amputate anybody's leg. And then we click on next. And now what we have is the DRG screen. We have 3 tabs across the DRG screen. We have the header, diagnosis, and procedure. In the header, we have all of these fields. The ones in blue are mandatory. You have to have entry in those fields. So we have the name, date of birth, age, sex, medical record number, account number, admit date, discharge status, primary payer, length of stay, and HAC indicator. Now you can see that for the date fields, we have calendars. And what's important here is the admit and discharge date, whether or not we're going to do ICD-9 or ICD-10. Obviously, this is after 10/1/15, so we're going to do ICD-10. So those dates have to jive with the type that you picked 2 slides back in order for it not to error out when you actually process the coding. This patient was discharged home, and it's stated so here. Obviously, there's a drop down there. There's a drop down for Medicare as primary payer. There's a lot of different choices. Okay, and there's also a lot of choices for the HAC indicator, all based on DRG guidelines. Now, what we're not going to do is we're not going to hit the process button right now. We're going to go to the next tab, which is diagnosis. And what we have here is we have the admit diagnosis and the principal diagnosis. Both happen to be the same. And the principal POA is yes, these diagnoses were present at admission time. And here are all the secondary. You can see they're ICD-10 and they're, yes, present. They were all present at admission time. They're all chronic problems for the most part. One of the things that I want to bring your attention to is down here. You can add a new secondary diagnosis if you need to. Going to go to the next tab, procedures. We have one procedure. And there it is. Okay, it's already coded. The date of the procedure is entered. It's already there. And there were no secondary procedures done. Again, if there were any secondary procedures that didn't get caught here, they can be added. Now we're going to process. And here's what we get. We have demographic information up at the top, which you can see. Then we have the MDC information. And there's the final DRG, cost weight, grouper, and HAC status. And then the last section, we have the ICD-10 codes. We have admitting diagnosis, principal diagnosis, and secondary diagnoses. Everything is right there on one page for you to look at. Now, here's our audit trail. What we have is, in the blue, is the DRG coding and what we did and how we came to those codes. And in the note itself, the diagnoses are highlighted in dark blue. Procedures are highlighted in green. And we even have warnings in red, if any are necessary. In this particular note, the diabetes was not defined to its most specific state, so a warning came up. That's pretty much DRG coding. It's very straightforward and very accurate. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. Our new website is onevoicedata.com. My email is rgilbert@onevoicedata.com. Don't hesitate to send an email. Don't hesitate to call. We appreciate any questions. If you want to see a demo face-to-face, do a personalized go-to-meeting, whatever you need to get more information and to help you use this technology, please give us a call. Again, I want to thank you, and we'll see you next time.